Welcome to Firuze's compatibility channel. Today we're going to speak about synastry, and synastry is when you bring two people's charts and look at their romantic connection. Of course, it doesn't have to be just romantic. You can do the same thing to check and see if, for example, someone who you want to get into business with, or if you want to check and see, with different family members, so that can be done. There's certain rules in matching charts. Today we're going to look at the effect of Rahu, which is in Western astrology called the North Node, and its connections to the other person's planets and vice versa, to see the meaning of those connections. So every individual brings their own karma to the relationship. On the surface, we talk about love, connections, intensity, and karma, and how to deal with those and resolve them. The most obvious thing to look for at Ra is really in relationships, as far as I would say the intensity, but it's not just Rahu, Ketu, but they're really important, is Rahu, the North Node, and Ketu, the South Node, and where they're sitting, and basically in which sign, in which house of the individual's charts. Rahu shows interest, attraction, love. Ketu is the unconscious, distraction. Also, it is something that you have accomplished in a past life. So you've already done it. Ketu also talks about the subconscious. So usually the nodes connect to the luminaries. So luminaries. I don't know why. I've had my coffee today. So the luminaries are the Sun, Moon, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn. So Rahu is the desire to experience. Let's say you have Rahu conjunct Venus in your third house, and the other person's Rahu is connected in your third house, and it's touching both your Rahu and Saturn. So the Rahu Venus, this is a great connection. That is the only time that actually Rahu feels responsible. It's a great deal of attraction. The connection grows deeper as time evolves. It leads to physical relationship, romance, and possibly marriage. There's enormous potential with Venus. There's always an undercurrent of learning, teaching. Venus is considered to be a teacher, a guru. There's always an undercurrent of learning and teaching, growth in metaphysical, esoteric wisdom, and also in the material. So Venus is not just the planet of love. He, in Vedic, is considered a he. He is a teacher with all the knowledge and seriousness that goes with it. It's a very natural connection. They will both respect each other. It's actually a package deal. So Rahu's Sun. Rahu's Sun is a deep connection. It's a lifetime connection. Rahu amplifies the Sun's power, which can be good for both Rahu person, because the Rahu person gives the power, the strength, the luck, desire, and optimism for the future. And the Sun person gives inspiration, creativity, self-confidence, healthy sense of self-ego, and leadership. The Sun person will drive this relationship. They will decide the common goal. They will pursue, but both is to ensure well, with the sun, it's to make sure that there's no ego competition, so to speak. So Rahu moon is a very strong emotional connection between two people. It can certainly be a lifetime relationship. It heightens emotion, creates a nice bond between two people. The Rahu person will amplify the moon person, meaning that Rahu will amplify the feelings that comes from the moon person. It's important to see if the moon is a full moon. In Vedic astrology, full moon is strong, and as it wanes, it gets less and less strength. So it's very important to find, what is the position of the moon in the chart of both, well, let's say the person that so the moon person, and we have the Rahu person who places his Rahu or her Rahu on the other person's moon. So we have to decipher the strength of the moon person. Sorry, didn't mean to confuse you here. They should actually make sure that it's not kind of a codependent relationship, because moon is all about emotions and feelings and so on. So it's, it's very up and down constantly. It also actually amplifies if the people are intuitive or spiritual, they feel that they've had a past life connection. And sometimes some of those experiences manifest in one's life that is at the present time. So the Rahu person supports physical protection and to the moon person, and the Rahu person receives emotional nurturing. So now we go to Rahu Mars. With Rahu Mars, there's a lot of fire, desire, excitement. It's very dynamic relationship. It's like together against the world. There's a brotherhood, a friendly connection with Mars. The Mars person has to be careful, about their self-ego, because it can sometimes affect the Rahu person's ego. So a lot of times it kind of creates a very deep connection, but it's back and forth. You are together, then you have a fight, or there's some kind of an ego challenge, and then you separate, and again you come back together. So it's a push and pull a little bit, but there's a lot of desire. It's very dynamic. So really, I'm talking now individually, but you really have to look at the whole chart of each person to really see how it would play out. And then we go to Rahu Mercury. With Rahu Mercury, because Mercury is the planet of writing, communication. So it's a very long-term relationship. Communication is good. It's like you speak on the phone constantly for a long time, or you text a lot. It's also, you learn a lot of skills together. You have common interests, same taste. It's great for friendship, business partnership. Mercury is also connected to desire. It's a natural ruler of the third house. So it does link with desire. It gives a successful relationship in which, in whatever level it manifests. Then, itchy nose. Then we go to Rahu Jupiter. Rahu Jupiter, it's a very positive connection in nature. They have different viewpoints, but in the background, they basically share both similarities. So it's hope, wisdom, higher learning. With Jupiter, Rahu provides the drive, and Jupiter with benevolence. They can grow with each other. They can have a long term relationship. They make a good team. It's a good combination to desire experience, which is Rahu, and to philosophize the experience, which is Jupiter. And it kind of makes a great deal of sense. It connects material with philosophical and spiritual. Usually, if the two people meet at a later age, when they are more mature, they will be able to support each other better with this connection. It balances better with age. Usually age means experience and wisdom. Hopefully it does. But yes. Then I already gave you the example for Rahu Venus. So the next is Rahu Saturn, and this is a little sticky. It's a difficult one. It's a serious connection. Rahu amplifies all the traits of Saturn, and Saturn basically rules, service, hard work, menial work, delays, also karma. It basically indicates a karmic connection. It's very serious. There's not much play in this relationship. And at times it can feel suffocating, restrictive, and loveless. Loveless after some time. It's actually great for non-romantic things, connections, like group activities. Saturn influence can create a strong past life connection, basically bringing two people to work out their karmas. It definitely is a challenge, growth opportunities in a relationship. But when Saturn and Rahu are in conjunction instantly, there's a battle between restrictive Saturn and the obsession of getting everything now by Rahu. This is a slightly dynamic tension between discipline and desire, and it can lead to a life path marked by both challenge and triumphs. It's a very serious connection. It can work really well if these planets conjunct in the third house or the sixth house, because third is courage, sixth is healing, service, suffering. If it's in the eighth house, it's catastrophic. It's like like Phoenix rising from its ashes. I mean, pretty constructive change, but it's a painful change. Rahu can help, turn the Saturn person into, for example, finding in innovative ways to lighten their workloads, things like that. So now we go to Rahu. Now, usually this happens between the two people who are very close in age, or they're like 17 or 18 years, if there's a 17 or 18 years age difference. They're both attracted to similar things. They have a deep understanding of each other. They have a deep understanding of each other's motivation, inclination. It's a great combo for friendship, companionship. It can be challenging only if, they want the same thing at the same time. So that might be a little bit of a conflict. Now, last but not least, we go to Rahu and Ketu. And usually the The Rahu Ketu people are 9 years apart. It's good for companionship. It also grows deeper with time. There are two opposing energies, but they're really one person, because Rahu and Ketu were one entity, and their head was cut off by the other deities, and so that's what created Rahu, which is the head, and Ketu, which is the tail. It really gives a neat understanding of each other. It doesn't need to be articulated. It's very intuitive understanding. Genuine sympathy, affection for each other, and they shape each other's life path. The K2 person knows on a deep level where the Rahu person is going. They feel the other missing link that completes them at the deepest level. This is, in general, how Rahu is linked in synastry, and how it evolves relationships. Of course, there are finer details defining further, and that would be to look at the whole chart. What house is it placed, where do these planets meet as far as houses, and also signs. Also, always keep the social and cultural background, because those affect, it's a form of programming. So that does affect synastry. So always have to keep that in the back of your mind, because these connections are mental and psychological connections. These are patterns that we analyze here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. The next one is going to be Venus in all houses. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.